Respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, T-C-E-P-S-E-R. It goes both ways, right?
Welcome to TaraElla LGBT News, where we examine the latest political and cultural news from the LGBT community and attempt to undo the toxicity within that has built up in the past few years. Subscribe if you're interested. Today, I'm going to look at the latest ContraPoints video titled Cancelling, where she examined her recent experience of being cancelled, as well as cancel culture in general. To start off, I'll say that I'm happy to see Natalie back and happy. While we don't always agree on things, I think Natalie is an important voice in the online cultural discourse, and she should keep speaking her mind. I'm going to focus on the part where she showed us a selection of tweets directed at her and her work during recent months. It is clear to anyone familiar with the drama that all of those represented blatantly unfair accusations. For example, given that Natalie has always gone the extra mile to champion the acceptance and inclusion of non-binary people, there really is no way that someone can, in their right mind, say that she is anti-non-binary. Another example is the claim that since Natalie featured Buck Angel in the video, she must share Buck's views, which is totally illogical. I suspect that even some of those making the tweets actually know that they are not speaking in good faith. In other words, the whole drama was a fact-free, fake news-driven farce. So how did we end up here? I blame the influence of postmodernism on cultural and political discourse. Traditional Western Enlightenment thinking emphasizes facts and logic. Under this worldview, people who want to make certain claims must first get their facts right. Another thing they must do is to make a logical argument. Where everybody agrees to operate under the Enlightenment worldview, someone who makes statements that violate the aforementioned rules would only end up hurting their own credibility. Therefore, the Enlightenment tradition prevents people from saying things in bad faith. However, since the rise of postmodernism, facts and logic have been demoted and subjective emotion, even where they clearly defy facts and logic, have been validated. Under postmodernism, people can have their own truth, even if it is objectively incompatible with the truth. Hence, people become essentially entitled to construct their own reality however they see fit. If they think someone holds a certain view, they feel entitled to make that accusation without strong objective evidence. As you can see, this leads to a very unhealthy cultural discourse. Now, let's turn to a common theme in the tweets Natalie showed us. Many of these tweets accuse Natalie of being a true scum or a transmedicalist, as if these things were the same. Now, Natalie clearly does not hold transmed views, and she is entitled to clarify that. However, as somebody who does hold transmed views, I am disappointed in the way Natalie handled these tweets. By platforming these tweets and not correcting the ridiculous presumption that transmed equals true scum equals hating non-binary people, the video essentially reinforced this dangerous misconception. This leads to unjustified hostility towards transmeds. The truth is, most transmeds don't act in a scummy way towards other people, and most transmeds don't have a problem with non-binary people. Transmeds and our ideas have been unfairly smeared enough in the recent LGBT discourse, and I'm sick and tired of it. The basic view of Transmedicalism is that being trans is a specific medical condition which is called gender dysphoria in the DSM-5. While this is sometimes rendered as unit dysphoria to be trans, for me and many other transmeds, the way we see it is that we tend to assume people who transition have gender dysphoria, and we certainly don't gatekeep people by judging whether they are dysphoric enough. Contrary to the myth, being transmed isn't about excluding people. It's about seeing the trans condition in the light of medical science, or seeing gender dysphoria as being rooted in biomedical causes. This encourages medical research that may one day help us all. There are already plenty of promising hypotheses as to the medical causes of gender dysphoria. I believe researching these further could be very important for our future. Furthermore, for me, being transmed is a basic part of how I understand my identity. I believe that the biomedical model is the only way to thoroughly understand a trans identity while being rooted in the worldview of medical science. From what I see, all the other alternatives, including the performativity model of gender, the idea that biological sex is a social construct, and so on, are all rooted in postmodernism and its denial of facts, logic, and the scientific method. As a scientific person, I cannot accept the postmodern worldview at all. Besides, I just demonstrated how the postmodern worldview is bad for all social debate and discourse. It is just natural that I can't accept a view of my own identity that has anything to do with postmodernism. Therefore, it is just natural that the Transmedicalism model is the way I understand my identity and my situation in life. This is why, for many of us, being transmed is both our commitment to upholding the scientific method and also an important part of how we understand our own identity. If the so-called intersectional left is so serious about respecting people and their diverse identities, perhaps they should come to understand and at least respect the transmedicalist identity. That's all for today. I'll be back next time to discuss another big idea. Subscribe if you want to follow our story. The transcripts are available on the internet. And remember to resist the hive mind and stay individualistic. The world depends on it.